Sorry about that now.
It's quite okay. We're live. It is way past 3:00 because we have had the joys of a live broadcast. We've had great fun trying to get Jason's face on the camera with me. He's here. He's definitely here. We've been chatting, but for some reason cannot get him up on the screen. So if you're here, say hello to us.
Hi, Anne. How are you doing?
Listen, this is so weird, but it's great. I know you're there. I can hear your voice. And people will probably pop in a minute. But I really do thank you, Jason, for coming on, because new builds and construction is sort of my pet baby, and it's yours as well. So give me a bit about your background, Jason. How did you start doing this, or how did JK Construction come about?
Yeah, well, I suppose my dad would have been in the construction industry years ago, and I obviously would have worked summers and I suppose evenings with him, and then I suppose when I went to Summerhill College, I done construction, so the metalwork, woodwork, and technical drawing, which I love doing. So obviously, then when I left school, then I went to Sligo IT to do construction studies, and then I went on then to I suppose work with a builder. So when I started working with him, then I just loved it. And I mean, it's obviously a real passion of mine. So. Yeah, it's sort of started from there and sort of went on from that. So yeah, it was really good.
Well, I've stumbled upon you on Instagram. I don't know how, why, or what, but I love what you do. Your passion comes through. Your projects are a bit different. Some of them are quirky. You seem to put your own stamp on every single one of them, if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, if it's right, it's right. And sometimes not everyone gets it right, including myself. But yeah, I suppose if you take a couple or whoever it may be doing a job, a lot of the time we'll say, their needs for now and again don't really come through. So you just have to adapt the building a little bit to the way they are living and the way they will live in the future. So obviously taking into consideration their age and all, what sort of their family status and all that is. So yeah, no, it's I like to make sure that the couple the clients are very happy with the project at the end of it, which means spending a bit of time with them and making sure they get what they want.
And getting to know them too, Jason, because oftentimes people don't know what they want. They don't know what their style is, and they wouldn't think about future-proofing their home. They wouldn't think about maybe having children down the road or enjoying old age together down the road.
Yeah,
and these things are so important. You build your house for life, really, and you can get it 100% right or not, and it takes the same effort.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I suppose when you're talking to people and they're sort of, you say to a young couple you have to think about kids coming along and how you plan out your house and how it's going to go. I mean, they look at you with 40 heads and then you're saying, well, this is if it goes that way, or if it doesn't go that way, and then maybe you might get another couple that might be looking to downsize or whatever, and then you obviously say, well, when your kids come back, they're going to come back 2- and 3-fold. So you obviously have to take that into consideration as well. So yeah, it's just sort of trying to get a good balance for your client and for the future, because I mean, when someone spends money and a lot of money on a house, they don't want to be doing it again in another 10 or 15 years. They wanted to see them out, whatever. Obviously, when people start when they're younger, I mean, they mightn't have the money to do exactly what they want to do, so they do change it in time to come. So
that was a question I was going to ask you, because budgets are tight, and with the way supplies are at the moment and the increased cost of everything, if I'm building my first house and I come to you and you've agreed to build the house, what would you suggest to people that they should do? Because the permanent things, I think you put your money into that, but how can they stretch their budget in your experience?
I don't think it's stretching the budget. I think it's just managing the from the very beginning. So it's basically a lot of people come to me looking for prices, and I do negotiate prices with a lot of people rather than doing pricing houses. So I actually work very closely with them from the very, very beginning, whether it be a new build or a renovation. And I mean, you know, when you give an architect a budget of, we'll say, whether it be 100,000, 200,000, or 300,000, like they go off and design it, and they don't really take into consideration the actual cost, and people don't really have the contingencies that, you know, of another 20 or 30,000. So, like, employing a quantity surveyor to cost and quote for the job, even for yourself, so you know exactly where your budget is, because people always get a shock when you go back with a price as a builder, like, because, you know, the architect wants to get the beautiful job that they would like to do, but it does normally cost a little bit more than what the client would like to spend. So having a quantity surveyor on your own team, like, it could cost you €500 or €600 to have a quantity surveyor on your team, but it's money well spent, like, you know, because at least you know it. You know, it's just doing a cost plan and budgeting, like.
Because you know something, when I meet with a client first, and I'm not mathematical, I'm married to an accountant, but I'm not naturally mathematical, but I have a very good instinct for a budget. And I will say to them, the most important thing about your build is, sadly, your budget. Because if you go over budget on one thing and another thing and another thing, you're not going to end up with anything like the finish that you'd hoped for. You maybe have rushed into decisions. You have made the wrong decisions. I find too that people need to plan things way in advance. They need to have the decisions made. People laugh at me. I have the kitchen organized, planned, picked, designed before a block is even put down. And then your flooring will come into play, and then your sanitary ware, because I'm sure it breaks your heart when you go to a client and you'll say, right, Mary, plumber's arriving on Monday. Where are the sanitary fittings? What shop are they in? What warehouse? And she'll say, oh, I couldn't make up my mind. I don't know. And that just spoils everything.
I suppose as part of the service we provide, like, I suppose a very good thing to do actually is what I do with all my clients is I set up a WhatsApp group between myself and the client, whether it be the husband and wife or partners or whatever it be. And it gives a very clear line of communication that everyone knows what's going on. So you can say, like, look, in 2-3 weeks time, we're going to have the plumbers in first fixing. And they both know. So one can't say, well, you never told me that. So there's no rows. So at least, and then I actually would go shopping with them as well, just to make sure they know what they're getting and what they don't get, like. Because obviously you want them to get some very decent stuff at a proper, you know, price or whatever, like. And it's just easier, like, because, to be honest, it's a complete. I do this all day, every day, and like, they don't. This isn't what they do, like. So it's easier just to go with them. You know, we go looking at tiles with them. I go, you know, I look at some paints with them, you know, sanitary ware, all that, like. But it just makes it easier, like. I mean, you know, like, because they walk into a shop and they're completely naive to what they're supposed to be looking for, what they're not supposed to be looking for, and the salesperson is just going to sell them whatever they want to sell them, like. And obviously, you know, the salespeople are doing their job and they will do their best for them, but. I think it's just that wee bit easier. Now, I know not everyone does that, but it's something that
I've never come across a builder who does that. You're almost providing an interior design service as well.
But like, it's very easy just to do it. Like, I mean, you know, I don't. I suppose for me, I don't travel that far. So I mean, for someone to come in, you know, a 20-mile radius, I'm always in the one area anyway, around, we'd say, Brooks Hanleys or Tubs and Tiles or wherever, like. So it's very easy for me just to pop in for half an hour, meet them there, just go through.
Never a half an hour, Jason.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Never. So do you exclusively base yourself in County Sligo?
Yeah, I don't move. I don't travel because we have enough business, and I have, I suppose, the reputation or whatever. So it's I don't have to, and I don't want to. Like, I mean, I really enjoy my life after work as well. Like, so I don't want to be on the road for an hour or 2 hours every day, traveling up and down the road or wherever it would be, you know. So absolutely, yeah.
I'm delighted to hear that, because I think COVID and all this horrible time that we've been through has made us think differently. I know in my heart, I will never get up at 4 o'clock to leave Donegal to be in Dublin at 8 o'clock for a site visit ever again. I won't ever do that. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Gosh, they're blessed to have you in Sligo. Lots of the girls are popping in to say hello. And in case you're wondering why you can't see Jason's lovely face, it's because we've some kind of a technical glitch. We don't know why. So thankfully he's here. He can see us. He can actually see us, but we can't see him.
Yeah.
If anybody has a question, do please ask, because he will have the answer for you, that's for sure. No, it's just people popping in and saying hello. And you're in the middle of an ambitious project of your own, a personal project, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell us about that, because I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, it's I suppose I stumbled upon it one day. I was going with myself and my wife Lindsay, we were going to Belfast. Yeah, and we just happened to be driving down this road and drove in and had a look at the house and seen the sign for sale. I actually thought it was a different house.
Oh, Jason, I've just lost you. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm not sure what has happened. Jason, I've lost your sound. Can you hear me? Gosh, this was just not meant to be, was it?
Sorry, back again there.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Sorry. So you were on the way to Belfast, and you found this house. Yes.
Yeah, we pulled in, and Lindsay fell in love with the house. I fell in love with the natural roof, slate roof, the blue bangers. So we ended up actually buying it at auction. So obviously, it's just been COVID has been good, because obviously it's given me a chance to do it where I wouldn't normally get to do it. But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing, and it's lovely. Obviously, I've been doing some lovely houses for people over the years, and just being able to do it myself, and I've done all the sort of design work and everything on it myself. So being able to put my full stamp on it, and obviously being able to do the work myself has just been like it's been great to do it, obviously from a cost point of view, because obviously the labor and during COVID I was actually working completely on my own. But yeah, like it's the whole experience for doing the house for myself as well, like, and obviously for myself and my wife has been just absolutely amazing. Like, yeah, so it's been really good.
I have built, and built the dream home really, and sold it, and will build again. But it's an older house. Tell us the provenance of the house.
Yeah, so it's right next door to the hunting and fishing lodge that was used by Lissadell House. It was originally, but the house next door was originally built for that. And then as you came around a roundabout, or whatever you call it, in courtyard in the front, the house that I bought was two houses. So one was for either for guests or for, we'll say, some of the higher staff. And then the other one then was for the servants' quarters. And in the middle of the two houses was it was the stables. So the horses stayed underneath, and then obviously whatever was up overhead. So it was built in around 1840. So yeah, there's unbelievable history with it, like, and yeah. So then it became an RIC barracks. It became a post office. It became a residential home, and now it hasn't been lived in for about 15 years. Okay. So yeah, so now it's back to new and fresh.
And tell me, structurally, was it fairly sound, or was it a money pit before you even got started?
No, well, it probably was. Like, if it was for someone else, it would have been a complete money pit. But like, I knew I was going to take the roof off it. The walls were actually straighter and more level than I've even seen new builds done in. It was, yeah, and it's actually built on rock as well, so it's completely structurally sound. So I was bringing it back to four walls anyway, as such. So that it didn't make a difference. There was no surprises. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I sort of, from the very beginning, I knew what I was doing as well. So I had the full plan. Obviously, I had a little scale model done and got approved by yourself. So yeah, it's yeah. So it's really good. Yeah. Yeah.
It looks stunning. And tell us about the inside. I'm fascinated because I actually don't know what your vision for the inside is. I'm guessing it's veering towards more contemporary, but I could be wrong.
It is, I suppose. Yeah. I obviously putting in the spiral stairs with the
If anybody
glass.
hasn't seen that spiral
Oh,
stairs, you must go over to JK Construction's Instagram page to see the lovely Lindsay walking down and 25,000 or maybe more people watching her. It's fabulous. It's just
yeah.
fabulous.
It's I think everyone is. A lot of people are sick looking at these stairs, but anyway, it is sort of a little bit contemporary. I am going to try and bring it back a little bit to the sort of older type. We have the sash windows, obviously, and people say spiral stairs is very contemporary and all that, but like spiral stairs would have been probably one of the first stairs that were ever put in, because obviously, you know, round towers and you know. The sort of structurally, to get a set of stairs built, it was easier to do spiral rather than straight stairs because they sit on top of each other. They're sort of self-supporting. But so yeah, it is. I suppose we're trying to bring it back a little bit to you know, the old feel as well. Like, I mean, we have natural stone wall in there. You know, we'll try and do some paneling and some sort of, you know, panels around the windows, the sash windows, because we've got displays on the windows as well. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously maybe a bit of help from someone like yourself might be not a bad idea, but.
I don't think you need any help, Jason Kennedy. I'm fascinated by one thing. How are you going to finish off the stairs, the balustrade? Are you going to? Is it going to be concrete, or is it going to be?
No, it's
wrought iron, or
yeah, it's fully plastered now. It's going to be curved glass the whole way.
Oh, I haven't seen. Right, okay. Yeah. Oh, brilliant, fantastic.
So, yeah, the glass, and then the handrail around is going to be glass as well. Yeah.
I was hoping you're going to say that, because I think closing that in, because it's so beautiful.
Oh no, the handrail on the inside. Yeah, the handrail on the inside is going to be done. It is done in a solid plastered wall, and that's like that's nearly like a piece of art in itself. So it's super. Yeah.
Oh, actually, about 2 years ago, I redesigned a house here. It was a really dark house, and now it's the brightest house. But we put in a complete glass stairs, steps, risers, treads, everything. It was tough work from a steel perspective and then a glass perspective, but it's unbelievable, and it's also opened. There's a question here, Jason, so if you don't mind, I'm going to ask it. I'll put it up here so that if I can. Okay, does Jason know if any builders will take on small jobs at the moment, e.g. knocking out wall windows to put in patio doors, knocking down a bit of a wall to put in a fireplace, replacing skirting and maybe update insulation? That's a good question, because we're living in very challenging times.
It's an impossible question to answer.
Yeah.
I not that I wasn't recommending anyone, but I was giving out other builders' numbers, and yeah, like they're just too busy at the moment. I don't know anyone. It's crazy. Like, I get at least 2 to 3 calls a day. For people looking for work done, and I just cannot do it. Like, we're booked out almost till this time next year. Like,
you know, it's a tough one. At the beginning of when we were opening up, or maybe in the middle of lockdown, I made a decision that I wasn't going to do home consultations anymore, because I just didn't have time. I'm just going to concentrate on total start to finish project work, and maybe cherry pick and do beautiful things. And I feel so bad, because I've had so many phone calls from people saying, I want to do up a room or a couple of rooms in my house, can you help me? And I've had to say no.
I know it's an awful position to be in. I got my vaccine last week, and when I went down when I got down to get the vaccine, the lady says to me, what's your name? And I had the face mask on with my name on it, and she goes, she says, I know you. And I actually looked at the job for her, but at the time I couldn't do it or whatever, like, and someone else done it, and she obviously didn't do a very good job. So and I did say to her, like, I says, I feel really bad that I couldn't do your job, because if someone comes to you and asks you to do some work or do a job, you know, you sort of, you'd like to do it for them, and you sort of feel not obliged, but, you know, like, if someone says, well, I know your work, I'd like you to do the job, like, and you can't do it, like, you do feel really bad, because, you know, there is some very good builders out there, and there's some very bad builders out there, and
I think it's the same for every trade, Jason. And I will say, you know, this is something that I say to all of my clients, and I have learned this lesson the hard way. If you pick somebody to do your job, and you pick them on reputation and because you love their work and you know what they do, and they say it's going to be next Christmas by the time I can come to you, and you go with somebody else, don't ever do that. I know. You wait for the person, Tyler, whatever. You wait for the person who can do. Yeah. But waits are getting longer.
Yeah, it is. It's just very difficult at the moment. I mean, along with that and the cost of material going through the roof, like, I mean, I've said it to people. I says, if you don't need to do your work this year or early next year, just put it on hold.
Yeah,
Um,
you said that to me before, and I was thinking, gosh, I don't know. Will things be
Working
worse
to
in a bit? Nobody knows, I suppose. Nobody
yeah.
knows.
Uh, yeah, it's so yeah. Nobody wants to wait. They just want to do it, and that's it. Because people are spending more time at home, and having family over the houses and that. So it's they want to do work in the house, like, and obviously they have money where they would have been spending it on holidays and
And cars and whatever. You're
cars and
absolutely
whatever.
right.
Yeah, so
But it's even when the house is built. I spent all day today. I did the interior design of a fabulous house, passive house over in Crawley in Donegal. But COVID stopped things, so we got to a certain stage where we didn't get to the fun stuff, the finishing touches. And I was with my client all day today. Sofas, 20 weeks lead time at the moment
geez,
from
yeah,
Monaghan, superbly constructed. I won't mention who it is, but everything seems to be, everything is on a container. It's pre-buying,
yeah,
pre-booking, and if the container gets in, happy days. Even the retailers, they don't know when that container, which is due to be in 3, 5, 7 weeks, will actually come in.
yeah,
And I was in one of my favorite shops today, Grove Furnitures, and in Kelly, and they said that people want to buy everything off the floor because they just want it now and they can't wait and they don't want to wait. So it is a big, big problem.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, even for anything that we're doing, whether it's steel, it's just everyone is so
Timber,
busy as
yeah,
well.
I know.
Steel and timber and like,
Plasterboard,
yeah, like OSB board is being made in, I think, Waterford or Wexford, and it's going straight to America, like,
yeah, I've
and you
heard
can't
that,
even get it
yes.
here, like,
The
it's
highest bidder buys are, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Another question from Breda Kelly. Breda, hello Anne, would Jason be able to tell me why the plaster on the driveway is cracking? There are hairlines and appearing in different parts of the walls. Thank you. It must be plaster on the walls. Plaster on the walls.
Yeah.
Walls on the driveway.
Oh, plaster. It must be the
It,
driveway
it
walls,
must
isn't
it must be the driveway walls. Yeah. First of all, I thought you said the driveway was cracking,
it?
but it must be the walls.
Yeah.
Settlement.
It could be that can be a combination of things. It can be as simple as if there were cutting curbs beside it and there was dust on the wall. Obviously, the plaster doesn't bond directly to the blockwork. Then, if it was a very very hot day, the plaster would dry out too quick. If they didn't wet the wall enough beforehand, it obviously the drying between the block and the plaster can be different. So it can sort of dry out too quickly, and then it creates cracking through shrinkage. It can, yeah, just I suppose those ideas, yeah.
It's a bit like people who dry out their own houses too quickly as well.
Yeah, absolutely,
Not a
yeah,
good idea. You let nature take its course and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
do it
Well,
slowly.
actually, just when you're saying there on drying, I suppose when you get clients that are mad to get into their houses and you're obviously you're working trying to get jobs done, drying times is massive, like, because you say to someone, like, when your finished floors go in, your drying time is at least 4 weeks, and then obviously you have to get the heat on then for a week, let it temper it
Yeah.
up to temperature, put it up for another week, then up to full temperature, and then let it sort of cool down again before you can actually put a tile on it. So from the minute your finished floors go in until you're ready to tile, it's about 6 weeks, like. And just the drying times, because houses are so airtight now, and there's no actual natural ventilation in the house, like, it's not letting the house dry out properly, like, and it just takes that much longer for the moisture to escape from the house as it's drying out naturally. So cracking is a bit of an issue, like, just in houses, and that if you don't do the drying properly, like.
I've actually had 2 instances where there was mold appearing on the walls because there wasn't enough ventilation.
Well, yeah, it was it in a new house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see, if the way technology is going with air tightness and your insulation levels and your heating levels and your windows being aerated and your doors being everything being airtight, there is actually not enough ventilation in the house. So a lot of people are opting out because it's not it's a necessity or so to think to put in heat recovery ventilation, and it's quite a big cost.
But it's an upfront cost. You'll reap the benefits way down the road.
Yeah. Like I even had a conversation with someone this morning, and they were saying about the heat recovery ventilation, and they were saying like you should really turn it off and put it back on when you come back into the house, like, because it really is a waste having it on when you're not there. And I says, well, you see, that's the thing. Heat recovery ventilation is not for you; it's for the house, and the house is always there. Like, so, yeah, that's a major issue. So like if you have all that condensation from people living in houses and it's going towards the windows, it's normally around the windows and that, and maybe up at the top of the ceilings. And if there is any bit of cold bridging at all, you will get the condensation and a bit of mold. But certainly,
it was top of the ceilings. Actually, it was a house in blah, and it was top of the ceilings. But when we opened the windows and ventilated the house and dried it out, and everything was absolutely fine.
Yeah. But a lot of people actually as well, because underfloor heating is so good, people are putting out clothes horses and drying clothes in the house. So it's obviously putting a massive amount of moisture into the room as well. Like, so
that is so true. I think my boys got it right from day one. They realized you could dry your towels on the floor.
Yeah, that's good for the towels, but not good for the house.
No, but that's what whenever I'm working in a house, and most of them do have underfloor heating, I nearly always put in a heated towel rail just to keep the towels dry and let everything else go off, because you don't want any moisture hanging around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you ever built a passive house?
No, I haven't built a full passive house. We get ratings fairly good, like the air changes per hour, but not certainly. I mean, you're talking about a whole other level of work.
Specialist as well. I mean, I've done 2 in the last year, and I mean the architect specialised in passive homes only, and the builder, particularly the one in Dublin, the builder, that's all he does is passive house. But it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No questions here. I thought you'd be flooded with questions actually. So, what are you working on at the minute, or can you tell me? You don't have to say where or what.
Yeah, we're well, I suppose we're at a new house out in Calry there. Just got the foundations in there last week.
Brilliant.
And yeah, we're at renovations. We've another renovation in Calry as well, and then we've another renovation to start out in the Holywell Road. So that's a nice big project again, But yeah, we do a mix of everything. So new houses, maintenance, sort of renovations or extensions or refurbs or whatever. Like, so it's a lovely mix of work. Like, you don't not just doing the one thing all the time. Like, so you just you have a lot of variety in it. Like,
which is brilliant. Actually, you could be describing me too, because new build, I love a new build. I love the challenge of a new build, but I also love the challenge of a good extension or a renovation. I'm actually going to start a job over in West Donegal very shortly, and it was an old house that they bought, and I helped them with it, and it's fabulous. But now they're putting on a fabulous new contemporary extension, which is really going to enhance the old house as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Something like that just fires me up and charges me, and I love it. I just love it. It's so sad. I don't even have a hard hat at the minute. That's how long it is since I have actually worn one. Isn't that desperate? But Jason, you're a super trooper to come on, even though knowing that we had these technical glitches and they can't see you. But I would urge anybody to check out Jason's Instagram page. It's JK Construction. I'm right, am I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe an underscore there, and it's just stunning. It's so informative, and you share so much knowledge as well, and it's very visual. I just love it. Susie Hickman is asking for a reason, because she's going to start a new kitchen. So let me put it up here. We'll see it better. Are the price increases the supplies and furnishings due to Brexit coupled with supply and demand? Do you see prices coming down if we waited out for a year or two? It's a good question, and I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. It's not just Brexit, it's the Suez Canal, it's COVID, it's China. It's very
Yeah,
complicated. There's lots of reasons. Yeah.
yeah, it's everything like, and it is suppliers having an opportunity to put up prices, which they sort of haven't. A lot of them haven't done in a long time. So, I don't really see prices coming down that much. The steel obviously fluctuates up and down. Timber should sort of level out a little bit.
I would hope. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you'd hope, yeah, absolutely. But like
Because that's
anything
even
else,
having an effect on furniture manufacturing at the minute.
yeah, of course, everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like insulation prices that went up 3 years ago, they went up 40%, because the factory had burnt down or something that made the chemical to do the insulation. So, like, I don't think they haven't. Well, they have gone up a little bit this year, but like they took a good price hike 3 years ago, but they haven't went down again. Like, so, any of the prices that are creeping up are probably going to be, sort of stay up where they are, like, and obviously the cost of labor is definitely going up as well, like.
Never mind the cost of labour, Jason, the shortage of labour.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, obviously they're trying to do incentives for apprentices, but like, again, we've spoken about this before. When you look at schools from the very beginning, even when I was starting to go to school, like, they always labelled the sort of woodwork, metalwork, and technical drawing as, the sort of put the stupid people in there, really. And unfortunately, that's the way it was. Like, so it doesn't bode well for a young fella. You have to go to college, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with the construction industry. Like, it's good. It's a good job. It's good living. It's, as much as anything else. Like, so it's a massive problem, trying to get apprentices in and labor people coming back. And obviously, if you've been working in the buildings for a long time as well, especially the way it was, with heavy lifting and moving, and that's not really the case now. Like, obviously with new machinery and technology and all that.
Technology, absolutely.
Like, and that's obviously the older people leave a little bit quicker now because obviously they're not able for it. But like, it is a major problem. Like, yeah.
It is. And so you talk about the non-academics being in those classes. Some of the brightest people I've ever worked with have been joiners and electricians and plumbers as well, who are so clued in. They have to embrace the technology. They have to know it. They have to be good at maths. They have to be good at everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, it's not, the day of just coming in to shovel a bit of concrete is well and truly gone. Like, I mean, it's certainly, everything you do now is a lot more technical, and, you have to have a broad range of knowledge to work on the buildings, like, because you can't just, like, the plumber just can't come in and just do the plumbing. He has to know about the wire and about air tightness, insulations, all that sort of stuff. So everything is linked, whether it be the carpenter, the electrician, the plumber, whatever. Like, I mean, everything is linked. You have to. It's not just throw up the block layer comes in, throws up the blocks, and that's easy for everyone. And everything has to all work together. Like, so yeah, there's a lot of thinking and a bit of savvy in it.
And it is all teamwork. I'm going to ask you the Dermot Bannon question. Did you find your own house harder than any other house because you felt you were maybe not as decisive in your own house as you would be in somebody else's?
No, not yet, but I think that's definitely coming. Yeah, I think the finishing is certainly going to be just to get that mix right of the sort of old and the new. I think that's going to be very, very difficult for me. But certainly the design of it and the look of it and the way it's turning out, I had that sort of vision from the very beginning. And actually the little scale model that I built in the beginning is almost identical to what I've done. So yeah, it's
fantastic.
Yeah.
And will Lindsay have a big input? Do you both like the same things? Do you?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah,
Good.
So it makes it a lot easier. Like, as but again, it's trying to, I suppose, explain to Lindsay that when you pick a door for a kitchen, it has an impact on everything else in the house, as well as the colors. The doors you pick for your bedrooms, your floors. You can't just pick one thing in isolation and say,
God, I'm so glad. Listen, I've written about this so much. And I always start with the kitchen. always,
Yeah,
because it sets a tone for the house. It's
yeah,
really, it's vitally important, the style of it and the color of it. And then your worktop comes into play, and then your floor comes into play.
yeah,
And then you can start thinking about your joinery. And the paint color is the very last thing. That's easy. But you
yeah,
get
yeah,
everything else. Flow has to be right. Everything has to work.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's all fun.
Yeah, but it is the whole. It is that everything you pick has to sort of join up to the very first thing to the very last thing. So it's just getting that joined up thinking really, and
I
yeah,
know,
so,
but it's easy. I have some of the girls who are here. I actually have an online interior design masterclass because I decided I was going to, if I couldn't be out helping people with their own homes, I would teach them how to do it for themselves. And a lot of them are building, and they found that for the first time ever in their lives, they actually understand what their own style is now, because it's
yeah,
knowledge and experience and confidence, and the knowledge comes first, the confidence comes after. But it's fun. It's absolute fun. I'm not going to hold you too long because I know you're busier than Santa on Christmas Eve, but I do appreciate you coming in to say hello. And I'm just so sad that we weren't able to see you.
yeah,
No
absolutely, yeah,
idea why that happened. Some stupid thing that I probably did, but at least we were able to talk to you and hear you.
yeah, absolutely.
So listen, thank you
And thanks
so
very much.
much.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
No, so I'll get everybody to follow you on Instagram. Is there any point, if anybody is building in Sligo, to get in touch with you, even to go on a wait list?
No, probably not. No, because I'm not trying not to take bookings until the end of this year for early next year. Like everything I'm doing this year is really booked in from last year, so I'm a year behind. So yeah, like being honest, there's not much point. It's ridiculous at the moment.
It
Ridiculous.
is. But anyway, they're the lucky guys that had the sense to book you in whenever. Mary Dixon is absolutely fantastic. It was a breath. I will have you back if you have time to come back another
Yeah,
day,
absolutely.
because
I'd
you're
love to.
just you just
I'd love to
make it.
show up the next time.
Well, look at, and it's so funny, ladies. I asked him for a photograph because all I could find online was a logo. And he said
Yeah,
he'd 15,000 photographs on his phone and not one of himself.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he had to get a photograph taken yesterday morning. Actually, before you go, where was that taken? I love that blue timber behind you. It was
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
stunning.
beautiful. It's actually we're doing revamping Lions' Cafe in Sligo.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so it's absolutely stunning. Yeah, it's the blue, and there's some, like, obviously the building is over 100 years old, like,
I know
and
it well, yes.
there's been some moldings, plaster moldings on the walls that have sort of blended in with the paint colors. So we're actually picking all that molding out in a beautiful silver. So on that blue, I think it's called Hicks blue.
I
Uh,
love Hicks blue. Many's the island
yeah,
I've done. Hicks blue. It's a gorgeous blue.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful
So that
and beautiful with silver. Absolutely stunning.
stunning.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna to pop out, like, so it'll be beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
oh, so are you under pressure to get that done quickly?
Well, no, obviously they're not. We're obviously under pressure to get to other jobs, but no, like they're not open out till the 5th of June, so
July,
we're well through it. We're
June, July.
July. Sorry,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like we're very close to finishing it. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's great.
Well, it looked amazing. I thought it looked stunning, absolutely beautiful. Well, listen, you're an absolute gentleman and a superstar, and I am just thrilled that you came onto my path somehow.
Yeah,
So we'll definitely
absolutely.
stay
Yeah,
in touch, absolutely, and you'll have to keep us posted with pictures of that beautiful house.
yeah. Oh, don't worry, I will. I will for sure.
Okay,
And thanks very
brilliant.
much. Appreciate
You're
it.
so welcome. So, ladies, I do apologize that Jason, you couldn't see Jason, and I'm sure that was my fault, but at least he was able to chat away. And I will be back now, here's the one. I thought I was going to be back next Wednesday with Jason O'Callaghan, who's a psychologist who has decluttered 95% of his life. And I'm fascinated to talk to him, but I think I might have to be on site next Wednesday. So there may be a different, but anyway, I'll give you plenty of notice. But he was actually on ITV with Holly and Philip Schofield last week or the week before talking about this. I didn't actually watch it because I want our interview to be fresh in my head. But that's going to be really interesting. So listen, go enjoy the sunshine if it comes. My absolute thanks to Jason. And as always, stay safe and stay fabulous. And I'll chat to you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.